These are my disability records. The reason we want to show this is because there has been a lot of questions that I wasn't bad off when I did start from a wheelchair.
All right, so you've had some people question, because people see your current videos and they question, well, that's just you, or you're not that bad off, or how did you start, or you don't know how bad off I am. So I'm going to read some of the medical information. And this is dated July 23rd, 2023, and we started in January 2023, so 6 months later. It says, time spent with disabled person, and this is from your father's perspective. Take care of son every day. Person's illness, injury, conditions that limit his or her ability to work. Tremors, difficulty in walking, speech difficulty, lack of coordination, eye movement. What is that? Nystagmus?
Yeah.
All motor skills are affected, lack of thinking. So it actually affected your cognitive a little bit too?
Yeah, and I think this one states that my father had to bathe me and dress me and everything.
Oh, we ain't done yet. I'm disabled person from waking to going to bed. Lack of coordination, lack of talking, trouble walking without falling, tremors, trouble eating, trouble swallowing. Father takes care of on a daily basis. Father takes care of son's cats, 4 cats. You were working full time, and when you went to the hospital, you found that you had a neurological problem. Okay. It affects your legs when you're trying to sleep.
Yeah.
The cramps, nerves in your legs start to affect your sleep.
Yeah, a lot of random movements.
Explain illness, injuries, conditions that affect person's ability to dress. Has to be dressed or have help with dressing every day. Bathe, the same. Help with bathing. Care for hair, the same. Help with washing hair. Shave, help in shaving. Feeding yourself, the same. Help with feeding him every day. Using the toilet, help with getting on and off the toilet. Disabled person can prepare his or her meals. At present time, he can feed himself, but meals need to be prepared for him. Okay? Father makes sure that there's always food available, so you don't have to try to make it yourself. Lack of coordination with motor skills, so fine motor skills. Fine movements, hand movements, writing, driving, anything like that. Wants to be able to do house and yard work. At this time, starting to do laundry, wash dishes again. Now this is 7 months after we started working together. And at first, when I first saw you, you came in on ski pole, very shaky.
I could barely move. Like I said, when I got at the hospital, I couldn't even touch my nose.
So that's severe lack of coordination or dexterity motor skills. You can't. Okay. Can you do housework, yard work? At this time, tries to help, but your father does most of the cleaning. How often? Every day. Let's see. Father takes care of all shopping needs. Art doesn't do any shopping. Hasn't worked for over 2 years. Not able to work. No income. Making videos of the improvement with the ataxia. That's you and I. And this is dated July 23rd of 2023. And we started in January 2023, right in the middle of the month. I think it was 15th or 16th. Make videos at least 3 times a week. That's what we do. For over 2 years, my son could not walk, talk, and had lost all motor skills. Okay. Explain illness, injuries, or conditions that affect each of the items below. lifting, squatting, bending, standing, reaching, walking, kneeling, talking, stair climbing, completing tasks, understanding, using hands. There's a distinct lack of coordination, slurred speech, difficulty in walking, lack of motor skills. And motor skills are just not clunky, but fine movements like turning or grabbing something or being able to pick something, like pour something without spilling it, being able to walk up steps.
And what they mean by walking, there was barely any walking.
How far can he or she walk before needing to stop and rest? Walking with walking aids, like a walker.
Yeah, that
walking
time
sticks.
I was using walking sticks.
That's what it says, yeah. Went from wheelchair to walker to walking sticks. Paying attention has improved. Okay. And you actually lost your job.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't work. Does the person use any of the following? Wheelchair, yes. Walker, yes. Other, walking sticks. Walker, cane, and walking sticks. Wheelchair over 2 years ago and walker about a year ago. So this is dated from 2023 back. So 2021, you were using the wheelchair. 2022, you were using the walker. In 2023, you were using the walking sticks. So you progressed slowly. Let's see.
When I wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, because you got a diagnosis from one neurologist that said you're probably as good as you're going to get.
Yeah. Pretty much all of them said that. And
this is just talking about vitamins and minerals. So a lot of people believe that a lot of people think that they don't believe you, like you're not that bad off, or, they don't.
That same thing it says pretty much, but you can read.
Yeah, I just want to see if it's like dated differently, if it's dated at a different time, just to get an idea. No, it's the same. They're copies. They're copies of the same thing. 7/23/23. So yeah, and you can show people
people don't believe me, but I promise I could barely move.
Yeah,
I get asked all the time that I'm a scam artist or whatever, but I'm not. I'm being completely honest. And because of all the exercising, the diet, and the stem cells, the trio, I'm getting better and better every day, every week, every month.
Each one of those, the diet, the exercise, the diet, and stem cells are great individually. But all of them combined, they work synergistically. So they work, the result of all three of them combined is better than any one by itself. And you ate pretty cleanly. You ate like a keto type of diet.
Yeah.
When you first started seeing me in January 2023. And when we started exercising, you started making strides. You started getting better. And then about 6 months in, I recommended the carnivore diet. You started doing that. And then about 9 months in, 9 months from the first time I saw you, you were driving.
Yeah.
You're starting to drive the Tesla. Yeah. It's big improvements. And I think people, they don't believe it. They don't believe you, and they don't believe it because, well, things aren't a reality to people till they actually do it.
Well, they're getting wrong information.
Well, that's what I was going to say. People don't believe things are reality, one, until they do it themselves. It's like watching somebody do something fantastic on TV, and you might think like, yeah, I could do that, but you don't really believe it because you haven't done it yourself. You don't know what the work involves to get there. But then, they're getting bad information. We went to all those conventions, conferences.
I can tell you it's horrible information.
Well, look at all those people that were in walkers, wheelchairs, or canes.
Oh, they can walk.
Like people at a buffet wheeling themselves up in a wheelchair and then standing up making plates. Like, why didn't you just walk over there? But they give them the idea without actually saying the words. Like, you're not really going to get any better. Just wait for us to research something and find out a cure, and we'll give you a pill. In the meantime, keep buying stuff from us and keep buying our information or whatever, or contributing to us because they're a nonprofit, or all these organizations out here, most of them are nonprofits. I don't know of any government organization that's funded to research. I mean, there are some.
Well, yeah, there are some.
But specifically about this?
They say they're nonprofit, but they make a profit.
Well, people don't realize either. It's the downside. Like even if you're at a university and you say, some scientists say, we should study this thing called ataxia, right?
What are you doing that works? And obviously, we got the desist letter. They said, obviously it works. Leave us alone. Don't promote that.
Yeah, we don't want to be associated with it. Not even that, though. People don't understand. There might be some scientists at a university say, let's study ataxia. But if they don't get grant money, they ain't going nowhere. They're not going to have any means to study. So the catch-22 is a lot of people are underhanded, and a lot of people are trying to do something good, but they're struggling. So they got to, I hate to say this word, but I don't know how else to make it sound, but it seems this way. They got to beg for money. They got to ask for money. Hey, can you donate? Because we don't have any money. You know, the way it's set up, it's conducive to ripoffs. It's conducive to people just getting in it for the money. And as long as they can keep research going and keep getting money in, I don't have a problem with research. I don't have a problem with universities getting money. That's fine. But then when you look at all these nonprofits, right? Like this is one, and I'm not going to throw the name out there, but it's like a Red Cross or something like that. It's not Red Cross, but it's one of those. It's a nonprofit for charity. And why is the person that heads that making $2 million a year?
Yeah,
it's a freaking nonprofit. Why do they get a $2 million salary? Is that where the money's going? Like, what? Why would they even be making $100,000? They ain't doing nothing that's that arduous or that involves that much brain power or know-how that they should be making six figures, much less seven. It's insane. But that's what happens when you start looking at the salaries of these people. If they're not making like $70,000 like a scientist, there's something wrong. Like that don't make sense. They're probably in it for the money. They don't need that much money. They should be making a base salary of $70,000, and all the millions should be going into the research, to buy the equipment, to buy the drugs, to buy the chemicals, to pay people to say, hey, look, we're going to try these drugs out. You sign a waiver. You're trying at your own risk, but we need help. We need test subjects. You know, whatever it is, a release form. People want to get paid for medical research. But all that costs money. So if nobody's putting the money in. So I'm saying all that to say, not to be confusing, but it does entail some money, and it does entail, you need test subjects, you need a place. You need, universities are good because they usually already have labs, they already have scientists working there, professors. They have people, now they need test subjects, they need drugs or chemicals or whatever they're going to test. And that takes money, but most of the organizations I see, they're not using that money to test things like this. They're using the money to enrich themselves. Like they had a homeless thing in California. I don't care about saying that. It's the state of California. They had a homeless thing. Money was getting put in for all these people. The president, the vice president, and I think the treasurer, they were all making seven figures. Like, and these homeless people still all over the street. Ain't nobody getting fed. Ain't nobody getting housed. Like, nobody getting medical care. Like, what's going on? And they're like, yeah, it's so, there's a lot of bogus stuff out there. And I think a lot of these people are getting bad information. And that's why, like, why would an organization, like you said, we got a cease and desist letter. Like, it's okay, it's great what you're doing, but we just don't want our name associated with that. Well, if it's great what I'm doing, why would you not want your name associated with it? Because all I'm doing is promoting you.
Yeah.
Everybody that sees me sees you. Because what we're doing is the antithesis. It's the opposite of what they're promoting. And it works. Exercise, diet, and possibly stem cell treatment if you can afford that. And they don't want people taken away because they want people to sit on them, keep giving them money, and just sitting in the wheelchair and doing nothing. So they rely on them. See, they need those people sick, broken, not getting better, because if people are working out and eating a carnivore diet and getting better, or the best they can, or possibly even curing themselves, they lose those people. And they don't want that. So they want to keep people, hey, just wait 50 years for research. We'll give you a cure. Man, that's fine. Keep researching. In the meantime, we'll tell people what to do right now. You want to get out of that wheelchair? You want to walk again? You want to do the best you can do? we'll help you. That's what we do. You know what I mean?
It's not rocket science.
It's not. It's
straightforward.
It's amazing to me that they don't, those organizations like that deal with neurological issues, it's amazing to me. Like, we were at the conferences and they'll say, you want to eat a healthy diet and you want to get exercise in, and then they move on. They don't because they don't know, or they don't want any clue about how to exercise. Well, what do I do? And what do you mean a healthy diet? Well, I don't know what that means. The way people have Hunger Man meals and Fruit Loops targeted to them on TV, they don't know what's healthy. They're told all kind of stuff that's wrong, and then they're thinking that Chick-fil-A is healthy. You know what I mean? They don't know. They don't know what's going on.
Speaking of Chick-fil-A, when you look up the ingredients,
I don't care.
That is the worst.
They can sue. They're getting their rear end handed to them because you have people like Robert F. Kennedy, like in the Maha movement, and all these people coming down on the dyes and the seed oils and all that stuff that's bad for you. And I used to tell people not too long ago, hey, if you got to eat fast food, Chick-fil-A is better than McDonald's. No, it's not. It's worse. All that stuff. I don't care who's watching this. They can sue if they want. They won't get anything. So sue away.
Well, it's true.
Sue away. You won't get anything. Yeah. I have 2 pennies. You'll get 1. I don't care. But it's not that good. I used to think it was good. They promoted it as good. All these things started. I'll say this real quick because I'm bashing fast food. All of them in the 50s, Ray Kroc and McDonald's, all of them started out, they were great. They used butter and tallow. They used grass-fed beef, and everything was all natural. They had buns, they had French fries, but everything was all natural. And they, over the decades, these are getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Now it's like everything is all artificial and some things are natural. You know what I mean? It's like, God, everything starts like that. Everybody wastes Walmart, and I'm not saying anything bad. Walmart's great. But Walmart, from what it started out as to now, a lot of things morph into things that they didn't, their initial intentions weren't meant to be that way. So even like us, we have a company and we want to help people with exercise and promoting a carnivore diet, or at least an animal-based diet at the very least, and promoting stem cells. The stem cell treatments are very effective. We want to do that, but we don't want to grow into something that's not what we are now. Like, obviously, we want to be successful if you're going to help people, because people are like, well, you're making money off that. Well, if you're going to devote your time to something, you got to live. I have to make money somehow. I can't keep a full-time job and do this full-time. You can't do that. So you want to be able to make money off of it, but I don't want to get to where I see a lot of these companies, they just morph into where they're screwing people. They're selling them junk.
It turns, they're all about the almighty dollar.
Yeah. I always used to say this. I don't want to be rich. I just want to be comfortable. Yeah. I don't want to have to sweat where I'm going to pay my electric bill or get food from. But other than that, I'm fine. Like some of these people, a lot of people are like that. And, so yeah, everything's on a spectrum. If I was out and I had a choice between, like we talked about this, I had a choice between, my choices there are Chick-fil-A or Five Guys. I'd probably get some burgers in a bowl from Five Guys. I wouldn't eat Chick-fil-A. Yeah. You try to do the best you can. I know situations aren't always ideal. I know people can't always afford gym memberships or a personal trainer or whatever. And that's fine, That's why we sell things, exercise programs online. And we'll talk with you and help you modify them however you need to whatever you got, Like our newest guy. He built himself some poles like the balance beams that you see in physical therapy or in gymnastics. He built himself that little thing. That's ingenious. Yeah, He made something that he knew. He saw that on TV. That's what they do when you're trying to learn to walk again. So he made himself something. You can always do something. There's always some kind of way. Yeah. And this guy's mainly in a chair. So he figured it out, and now we're helping him figure out how to use it even better. There's always a way. Everything is levels of, so we want to help you go to the next level, improve better, improve more, eat better, work out better. One of the things I always tell people with personal training, it's the same thing with this, with the exercise programs for this. One of my main jobs is just to save you trial and error. So you don't flounder for years trying to figure out things on your own. Well, we've already figured out a lot of things.
Well, a lot of people will try like the carnivore diet, but most people, if not all people, do it wrong.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing when I started doing it in 2019 was I said, man, I felt great for a couple weeks, and now I feel like I have no energy. And they were talking to me, and it's like, well, you're not eating enough fat. At least when you first start the carnivore diet for a while, get your body using the fat and fat adapted. So I was, fat your energy because you're not eating carbohydrates, you're not eating sugar, you're eating fatty foods. And I would have no energy. And I was about to quit. I was like, man, I feel like hell. I felt great for a while, and then it went, pew. So people don't know that, though. That's where we can come in with that, too. We can help you avoid those little pitfalls that you might experience trying to transition into or maintain a carnivore diet. Once you get past that adjustment period, though, like in keto, which is basically meat and vegetables, they tell you the keto flu, where you'll start feeling real funky. Your body is purging and getting rid of, all those toxins or whatever else is built up in your body, and you're getting used to burning fat instead of carbohydrates, and your body wants that sugar. So you feel like hell for a while. Some people last a few days, some people last weeks. A lot of people don't have anything. Nothing happens to them. They're fine. So, you know what I mean? Those are people are golden.
Yeah, I think I pretty clean, but about the first week it was rough.
Another one is you're not holding carbs. You're not using carbs, so you're not holding as much water. Your body doesn't hold as much water. Yeah. So you pee a lot. Well, when you pee, you're going to pee out electrolytes. Sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium. That's another thing that'll make you feel like hell, give you headaches. So you just need to supplement with those, at least at first until you get used to the diet. And then, because the good beauty about the carnivore diet, you don't necessarily have to supplement with anything. If you're eating beef and eggs and butter and maybe some beef tallow, cooked with beef tallow, you're probably golden with that. That'll probably meet most, if not every one of your needs, your dietary needs. But at first, there's an adjustment period, and drinking electrolyte drinks or just nothing but sea salt in your water. You need some additional things to help you get through that. It'll help mitigate those feelings of feeling like hell because you're losing electrolytes from peeing all the time. Yeah. But after a while, you don't even need to add as much fat to your diet after a while because you just get used to it, So you just adjust up or down. It's the easiest diet in the world to do, really. Once you get used to it, it's the easiest diet to work because it's the easiest to adjust. But when you have a diet that people think is standard and you eat everything, it's harder to make adjustments. It's harder because you don't know what's doing what. And if you adjust this, then you got to adjust something else. And, if you're eating beef and chicken and fish and eggs and bacon and, butter and beef tallow or pork fat, you know what I mean? Like, that's golden. And it's easy to adjust those things.
Well, people will learn their body when they go into carnivore. I learned my body. I only eat once or twice a day. That's it.
Yeah. Some people, I think the standard for most people that they say that they've been on carnivore diet when I say for a while, like 6 months to a year or more, is they start eating twice a day, maybe once a day. I never get up and feel like I gotta have breakfast. I mean, I think that was, based on food history, especially in this country, I think that was a thing that people just invented so you'd buy more food. I really do think that.
It's all about those grains.
Yeah. Because even stuff that people would traditionally eat for breakfast, bacon and eggs, they replaced it with pancakes and, cereal, like all that crap, all that garbage. Yeah. But this is, we got way off topic, but it's okay because people need that information. But
I wanted to share this because no one has believed me.
Yeah, I think that it's just so much bad information and lack of the bad information that they're getting has filled the void of there's not good information. And so, there's some people out there, but they're overwhelmed by all of the bad stuff that's out there. All those people have a head start, but we're gaining. We're coming up in the world, you know what I mean? And there's other people now that are coming on board and promoting carnivore diet and exercise for neurological issues. And it's good for us. See, we want other people to succeed. We're not just about the dollar. We want other people to succeed, because the more people do this kind of thing, and the more people get with us, and the more people copy us or mimic us or just do the kind of things we're doing, the better. Because the more the information gets out there, then the more the right stuff, the vigorous exercise, steering toward the carnivore diet and stem cell, the more that information gets out there by more and more people, the more it becomes mainstream, the more it becomes more easily accessible, and even the cheaper it'll get. The more something becomes more mainstream, the cheaper it gets. Everything's expensive at first. It's like a new car.
Yeah.
Like that Tesla or anything. When it first comes out, super expensive. Then the price comes down as more and more people get used to it, and it becomes more popular and more. So, that's good. We want people to start your own organization. That's fine. I don't care. Get the information out there. Do what we're doing. You're helping us.
We just want to help people.
Yeah. The more we can help people, the better. The proof is in the results. Like your results, you are proof of that, the results. And that paperwork is straight from SSI or SSA,
Disability.
Disability, yeah. So, it's possible. But I just think a lot of people don't think it's possible. They don't know. They're just ignorant. They don't know. Well, and they're getting bad information.
Yeah, they're told or been told it's not possible.
Yeah.
I was told the same thing.
Yeah, if you were to listen to your first or second neurologist, you'd have been like, well, I guess you see his wheelchair. Yeah,
But something told me it didn't sound right.
But you have everybody's different. Some people are stronger, some people are weaker. Some people are leaders, some people are followers. Some people are go-getters, some people are not. They're just lazy. They need to be kicked to do stuff. You know what I mean? But anybody can do it, man. Anybody can do it. It's actually one of the easier things to do. That's why I got into personal training and exercise in the first place. It's one of the few things in life that you have some control over, is your health, your athleticism, your ability to do things in life, the way you feel, the way you look, whatever. You don't have a lot of control over a lot of things in life. This is one of the few things you can control on a pretty much day-to-day basis.
Thank you, everyone. Hopefully this answered some skeptical questions about my disability. Please like, subscribe, ring that bell to help us out. Thank you.